Security guards manning public places will now be licensed to carry firearms while on duty after fresh training. Now, Private Security Regulatory Authority CEO Fazul Mohammed says all employees in security firms will undergo vetting and firearms will only be given to specific security officers. Mel Miendo is covering that meeting here in Nairobi and now joins us. And the meeting, I understand, is still going on. And let's listen in.
Giving arms to the private security officers, and basically there are various issues that we are now addressing, including number one, we are now ensuring that they get proper minimum wage and also their welfare as people who are working within the security industry. And number two, we are also going to undertake proper and very rigorous security vetting of all private security officers working in the industry. And then the third one, we have also now formulated a curriculum which will be mandatory for all officers working within the private security industry to undergo. That curriculum will include, but not limited to, counterterrorism. That is a place where we are going to give a lot of emphasis on. And we have drafted that curriculum. It is now ready. And we have included people from the National Police, from the National Counterterrorism, from the National Defense, National Intelligence. And basically, the whole idea is to integrate the work of the private security officers into the national security organs. And the people who we are going to issue firearms to, they will be for specific purpose and for specific assignment. That includes those officers who guard, who provide security for key installations, especially where there is a lot of human traffic. These include the malls, the hotels. And another area where we're also going to provide the officers with the firearms are those officers who do cash in transit and also VIP protection. So those are areas that we are going to start with. Then we now, by that time, the issue of the salary is very key, because if we give a firearm to an officer who is not well remunerated, the firearm might become, it might be misused. So that is why we want to ensure that all private security companies pay minimum wage, which is around 15,000. They pay extra hours, which is around 8,700. Then they also pay house allowance, which is around 2,000, and responsibility allowance. That brings the entire minimum wage level to almost 25,000. Yeah. And security vetting database, we're also going to have biometric, the fingerprints, the eyes, and basically everything that we need to know from a private security guard to be in the database within the national security. And those places which are being manned by the private security officers, we are going to link them to the national police service. That is the command and control center, so that in case there is a problem, then they are going to press an alarm button that is going to show a distress call at the command and control center. As they wait for backup, then these people, they're usually the first people in the line of defense, you know. So that is basically what we are discussing today. Thank you.
One question that arises from this is, how long is the training going to be, and what is the timeline?
The timeline, basically, everything that we have said now starts immediately, and it will be implemented fully within the next 6 months. Yes.
You had mentioned that you'll be engaging the DCI and the NIS. Perhaps you can just give us a brief on that.
Basically, Section 45 of the Private Security Regulatory Act of 2016 provides for cooperation between the private security industry with the national security organs. So basically, we want to integrate their role and the work of the private security officers that they work on the ground with the national security organs that include the National Intelligence, National Police, and the National Defense, all of them to be reading from the same script. Yes.
Another question that comes is, it's an open secret that some of the police officers in Kenya, they lend out their guns. How sure are you that crime rate is not going to go up now that we're going to have more people with guns?
No, basically now if we flip that coin on the other side, because of the various measures that we have done, you know, we are not just issuing guns. What we are doing is, first of all, we are addressing their welfare. They are paid well, they are remunerated well, they have proper insurance cover. Then the second thing is we vet them properly. And by vetting, we are going to have a holistic process of vetting. Then the third one, we are going to take them through a proper security vetting, training, sorry. That will ensure that these people know. And we have also even given the specific caliber of firearms to be used for specific places. For example, a guard who transports cash under the cash in transit will have a certain caliber of firearm from the one who is doing VIP protection, for example, and from the one who is guarding a mall. So basically, all those things that, and we have borrowed heavily from the Firearms Licensing Board. And we have also borrowed it from the international best practices. So this is something, and anybody who is issued the firearm, we are going to have to do ballistic tests of those firearms. So at any given time, the government, through the authority, will know who is having which firearm and doing which kind of an assignment. Yes, and once that assignment is done, then they return it for safe storage within the company's premises. Yes.
You also mentioned the numbers being in excess of 500,000.
Yes.
Maybe how many guards will be issued these firearms? And is the entire arming process going to be done in a pilot basis, or going to be carried out in specific phases?
No, certainly. In fact, conservatively, it's 500,000. Now, within the next 6 months, we'll give you an exact figure, because we are going to have every biometric data of every private security guard working in the country. So by that time, certainly, in fact, that figure might even go up. The majority of the guards do the door work, the door guard. Now, for these specialized places and for the specialized equipment, probably that number will be like a fifth or something like that. Yeah. Yes, yes.
You had mentioned
But
about
the other thing also I want
Yes.
to comment on the issue of the armory. The guards are not going to be given arms to carry them into the slums. We are going to have because I'm also on the board of the regulation. We are going to create an armory where to store the guns with the company. The employee is the one who will be entrusted, because he knows the assignment, which requires what? A tool of trade. You cannot just arm every card. So the fear of misuse of the gun will be addressed by the employer, because it's the employer who assigned the gun. I think that one should be clear. And we cannot afford to arm every Tom and Dick.
Well, we've been listening in to stakeholders who are part and parcel of a meeting that was going on in as far as private security guards manning public places being pushed to be licensed to carry firearms while on duty after fresh training. Early on, Private Security Regulatory Authority CEO Fazul Mohammed saying all employees in security firms will undergo vetting and firearms will only be given to specific security officers. Our reporter Mel Miendo is actually at that press conference, and she will be tabulating more details in our subsequent bulletins. Now,